During the winter of 1999, I took a journalism class at Armstrong Atlantic State University in Savannah, Georgia. One of the journalism class assignments was to write 4 articles for the school newspaper called The Inkwell. One of my articles was about the people who had worked for the college for over 20 years. I got some recognition for that article. I also reviewed a school play performed by the AASU Maskers. As a result of that article, theater professor Dr. Peter Mellon got me my first job as a freelance writer. I wrote previews and reviews of plays for an arts and entertainment paper called Creative Loafing. My first article ran April 27, 1999. Creative Loafing soon changed its name to Connect Savannah, but I continued to write articles for the paper. It was my dream to become a professional writer, so I looked for more freelance work. I began selling stories to the Savannah Morning News. My stories ran in their community news section called Close Up. My earliest feature stories were on people I knew: a professor at school, a neighbor, my barber. Then I approached strangers and found willing subjects among business owners, artists, and other people around town. A friend at school told me about a bar called the Office Lounge. The bar was keeping an unclaimed urn that held the remains of a former patron. The Savannah Morning News ran that article in the regular section of the paper, and afterwards I was given an assignment to write articles about the bars in Savannah. The Savannah Morning News gave me other assignments as well, such as the county's senior school bus driver and a man named Herman Cranman, who had written a book about his experience during World War II when he lived as a POW in a German camp for 10 months. I interviewed a local celebrity involved in a charity event, the Lady Chablis. As we began the interview, I was fumbling for my notebook and tape recorder. In a polite, direct manner, Lady Chablis said I should be better prepared. Be ready. I give her credit for helping me. It was a step to becoming more professional. I had a lot to learn about being a reporter. I was living my dream, but I discovered the stories I wrote affected my subjects more than they affected me. I did not have a mentor or a guide, so most of my lessons came the hard way. I was not ready for the attention my new role created. Strangers began to recognize me, and I had unwittingly turned myself into a target. I had not yet realized the responsibility that comes with living a dream. There were consequences and losses for failing to live up to these responsibilities. I found 2 full-time jobs with small newspapers in rural Georgia, but neither job lasted longer than a few months. Fortunately, I did not give up and continued to write as a freelance reporter. Here is an article I wrote about a retiring high school teacher named Fred Wagner, who had taught me in a television production class during the 1980s and helped me start my career in media. I had about 5 years' experience freelancing when I started selling stories to the Spirit of the West Side, based in Pooler, Georgia, and run by Steve and Allison Hartley. I wrote feature stories and hard news for them. Here is an article written in 2007 about President George Bush's visit to Pooler. During the event that day, someone reported me to the Secret Service, and I was questioned by an agent who asked to see my notes. I still remember standing in the rain with the agent. He told me one thing of value. He said, "It is a criminal offense to write anything about the president being dead, but it is acceptable to write the president sucks." Eventually, I found a full-time staff reporter job for a small newspaper in rural Georgia. As fortune would have it, I was able to cover an important event during my time there. But when it was over, it was over. I worked for a couple more years as a freelance reporter. My last published article was with the Spirit of the West Side newspaper on February 15th, 2012. Pursuing my dream to be a professional writer cost me a lot. I sometimes wonder which is worse, trying to turn a dream into a reality or letting the dream go by. However, one thing is for sure. I will not spend the rest of my life wondering what if. I seized the moment. I took my chances. I suffered for it, but I learned and grew and improved, not only as a writer, but as a person too. If I was offered work at a newspaper today, would I take it? Maybe, if it was a job in classified ads.